There's a lot of new information in the recently released Twitter files, but the big issue is where they reveal a cover-up that could lead to criminal charges. Ring of Fire's Farron Cousins joins me to talk about what's happening on that and a lot of other issues, Farron. There's a lot of things going on right now. You know, when I looked at this, Jack Dorsey has a potential problem here. I wanted to go back and see what did he actually tell Congress. Did he commit perjury? Did he lie to Congress? Because there's case after case where, you know, people are thrown in jail for that.
Yeah.
And so what I looked at, I wanted to see what the actual words were. And one of the questions were asked by a Democrat from Pennsylvania. He asked, "Was social media, is it rigged to censor conservatives? Is that true of Twitter?" And he said, "No, we're not censoring people." And then he was asked again by another, "Are you censoring people?" Dorsey said, "No." He was asked again, is there shadow banning going on with Twitter? He said, "Absolutely not." You know, we've all seen it. I think of the case, as a matter of fact, there's tons of cases, but the case I think of is Roger Clemens. Talk about the similarities here.
Yeah, Roger Clemens, as we all know, many years ago, was hauled before Congress and asked, are you using steroids in Major League Baseball? And he says, "Absolutely not. Don't use steroids." Well, we find out later he is. So technically, he lied to Congress. They pursued charges against him. They ultimately got a mistrial and acquitted him. But he lied to Congress about something inconsequential. Congress could not have put sanctions on him for taking steroids. That's not their job. And it's the same with Dorsey's testimony there. If he had just said, "Yeah, we do it all the time. I can do what I want. It's my company," Congress could not have done anything to him about it.
Explain that. Isn't there something in the contract that says, "Yeah, I can shadow, I can censor, I can do whatever I want to do"?
In Twitter's own terms of service that are still active today, it says we reserve the right to de-amplify content, to hide content, to limit the availability and I forget the exact terminology, but they say, yeah, we can limit things, and if you're signing up for Twitter, you agree to let us do that. So he could have said that in that thing. He could have said, "You know what, we don't make it a habit, but it's right there in our terms of service. If we need to, we can do it."
Is it bad lawyering? Did his lawyers say, "Yeah, go lie to Congress"? I mean, this is just 3 questions. There's a lot more, but there were 3 questions, and I compare it to Roger Clemens, who was lying about performance-enhancing drugs. And yeah, they found him in contempt, and I mean, it's serious stuff.
It really is.
So if his lawyer said, "Yeah, Jack, just lie about it," and I'm wondering whether or not part of that had to do, I don't know, I don't remember the timing. Did it have anything to do with just prior to Musk coming and making the buy? Was there a time element there?
This was I think long before.
Yeah, I think it was.
Long before Musk was even in the picture at all here.
But I mean, I know of that. Did he ever appear after that? I guess I'm wondering close to.
Not that I've seen, but as you mentioned, the questioning does go on. And what's interesting is, as the questioning goes on, he's then asked too, like, do they do it for Democrats as well as conservatives, seeming to already understand, like, this guy's not telling us the truth. And then he said, yes, it does happen to Democrats too. So already, without any of these files, he already contradicted himself on, do we limit the availability of users? But
well, look, either he lied, he just knowingly lied. His lawyer said, who should be sued for malpractice. If he had a lawyer there and the lawyer didn't say, "Jack, this is serious stuff. You go to prison for this." Think about Haldeman and think about Harvey Mattson. Think about Casper Weinberg. Think about all these people that have gone to prison or, had jail sentences at least, whether they're suspended or not. But there's nothing equivocal about it. Were you shadowboxed? No, I wasn't. Were you censoring people? No, I wasn't. And so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what the hell? He either lied or he was so out of touch with his own company. What do you think?
It's one of those two. I mean, those really are the only 2 options at this point, unless he's trying to play the Bill Clinton depends on your definition of the word is. Because Twitter did come out. I actually read this just a few moments ago.
Okay.
Twitter had come out a couple years ago, shortly after this, and they defined what shadow banning means.
Yeah.
And shadow banning, according to Twitter, is when nobody except the person who puts the tweet out there can see it.
Yeah.
So if he's asked, do you shadow ban? Well, I've got a different definition of shadow ban,
Yeah.
so of course I don't do that.
That's fine. On shadow banning, I got you. But when you say, did you censor?
Exactly.
No, I did not. Did you censor according to political ideology? No, I did not. I mean, that's where this really goes. And I'm just thinking, there's, we talked about the number of people who've been charged with willful blindness. So it's either, yes, I was lying, and yeah, I'm caught, or I'm so disconnected from this company. I started growing my beard and smoking pot or whatever's new lifestyle, whatever it is. And I was so out of it, I didn't know what was going on. There's still something called willful blindness this guy he has to overcome.
Well, and the big issue to me is this is something he didn't even need to lie about or act like he didn't know anything about.
He faced it straight on.
He could have done that, and we wouldn't be having this conversation today. We probably wouldn't even have the Twitter files as they exist now, because they would have said, yeah, these things happen. It's right there in our terms of service. You don't like it? Go to a different app.
Exactly. Well, we do it all the time. Somebody comes on our site and they attack you or they attack me. Our position here is you can attack the story, but you may not attack the people who deliver the story. And if you do, you're gone. If you do, we unsubscribe you. We get rid of you. That's our policy, but we let everybody know. I'm letting them know right now. I get it. If they attack you, they can talk about the story all they want. But if they start getting personal in attacking you or attacking me, they're gone. Doesn't affect us. Our numbers are great. Doesn't have any effect on us. But it's our policy. That's what the guy needed to say. It's right here in the policy.
Yeah, he could have had a printout of it and just shown it and said, well, this is our policy.
Yeah.
Again, do we make it a habit to do this? No, we don't.
Yeah.
But if we feel the need to do it, we're going to do it, and we're allowed to because you agreed to it when you signed up.
That's right.
End of story.
I think your point's really good, Farron. I think you're right on. It just didn't have to happen.